A gorgeous afternoon in the Rose City, and Providence Park is buzzing as the Portland Thorns welcome the Western New York Flash to town. A match for both clubs in this young NWSL season. Good afternoon, everybody. Ant Shot's joined by my broadcast partner. That's Janine Sparra, former U.S. member of the national team and also the current associate head coach of the Academy Club for the Portland Thorns. All right, let's set the scene. The Portland Thorns coming off a dominant victory against Boston last week. What can this Portland Thorns team draw from what they did in Game 1 and keep things going against the New Look Flash?
I think that's a consistency that they've had in practice and that they had in their first game that they're looking to draw out and just continue through the season.
We do know that Rachel Van Hollebeck will not be playing on that back line for the Portland Thorns, nursing a hamstring injury that she sustained in practice this week. So Nemec will get the start. What does that mean for the Portland defensive back line?
Correct. Nemec has also been in the entire time in preseason and through training. So those three, whichever team they've been on in practice, have been together. So there's a lot of experience. There's a lot of chances for them to work together. So they're solid, and it's not that much of a change for them.
Let's move up to the midfield. Very solid performance by the Portland Thorns last week. They really dominated Boston in that area of the field. Can they do that again against this New York team that comes in with some speed and some youngsters?
They definitely can. They've got great talent in the midfield, second to none, really. So I expect them to do the ball work and do everything they can, just like they did in the last game.
All right, let's talk about this Western New York club coming off a drubbing up in Seattle last weekend. New look club. Aaron Lyons has blown up this lineup. No Abby, no Carly Lloyd, a lot of youngsters, but Sydney Leroux. What kind of dangerous club are we looking at here?
Well, they did change the entire team. They've got only 3 returners from last year, so that's a big change. But incredible implementation of all the talent that he does have. So you saw good things in the Seattle game from them. They couldn't quite overcome the rain, but I think they're going to show that they're really come together as a team.
And obviously, Sydney Leroux can make you go.
She can, and you better keep up with her because she does have some wheels.
All right, so it'll be a very, very interesting game here. The Western New York Flash hoping to get into the win column, but this is a Portland Thorns team that has been doing very well at home, even when you go back into the 2014 campaign. So when we come back, we're going to have opening lineups for both clubs, plus opening kickoff just moments away from Providence Park.
Giving back to the community is very important to our family.
Help the Portland community and buy your 50-50 raffle tickets at every Timbers and Thorns home game. As a current board member of AC Portland, I know they're making a difference in the community through sports and education. 50% of the jackpot benefits Active Children Portland and the Stand Together Fields for All program. To participate, look for the 50-50 signs at home games and visit timbers.com/5050 for more information.
From an early age, I knew I was destined for greatness. Dad would say,
"Eres un has abocado, mijo. Eres especial."
Dad was right. I was ripe for big things. Not typical expected things, but bold, more exciting things. So I carried on, until one day, I found my true calling.
Discover new guacamole sandwiches at McDonald's with freshly made pico de gallo and guacamole made with Hass avocados.
I made the big time, Dad.
If you be my star, I'll be your sky. You can hide underneath me and come out at night. When I turn jet black and you show off your light, I live to let you shine. I live to let you
You have no idea how your health rolls out in waves of good. Providence.
Welcome back to Providence Park. Moments away from kickoff between the Portland Thorns and Western New York Flash. Starting 11 for the Thorns. Riley going with that 3-4-2-1 formation again. Augerer will make the season debut in goal for Portland. No Van Hallebeck, so Courtney Nemec will join Kat Williamson. Menges on the back line. Farley and McCall Zerboni are the holding mids for Portland. Kendall Johnson and Tobin Heath are those outside wingbacks for Riley. Mana, Alli are attacking mids, and Jody Taylor will be the lone forward today, starting for Alex Morgan, who will not start due to a left knee contusion. For Aaron Lyons and his new look, and I mean new look, Flash, rookie Sabrina D'Angelo in the nets again. Whitney Engen will lead a four-player back line. Former Thorns Becky Edwards will join newcomers Sam Ewis and Abby Dahlkemper in the midfield, and Sydney Leroux will be the one to watch on that Flash front line. Portland in their home kits, red shirts, red shorts, red socks. The Flash in their road kits, white from top to bottom. 73 degrees here in the Rose City today. Winds out of the north at about 11 miles an hour. In other words, absolutely brilliant conditions for this soccer match that features a Portland Thorns team that came off a convincing victory last weekend here in Portland, and a Western New York club that lost to Seattle up north 5-1. And shots along with Janine Sparra. And Janine, we talked about the back line with Nemec getting that start. We talked about how critically important that midfield is. But how about Jody Taylor making her first start for this Portland Thorns club with Morgan nursing that injury?
This is going to be an awesome chance for the Thorns fans to check out Jody Taylor, the English international, and see just exactly what she can do. Paul Riley is super excited about her and talks about her as a true forward, which are hard to find. They're not easy to come by, true forwards. So it's going to be super exciting to see her out there in the game and see what she can do for this team.
The three Canadians in the fold for Paul Riley and the Thorns, most notably Christine Sinclair. Will we see any of them today, do you think?
Most likely we will. Paul talked about it and said that Sink should probably get in the lineup. So look to see her later in the game depending on how it goes. And he actually said either way, whatever's happening in the game, she'll most likely enter.
Obviously, Christine Sinclair, one of the most well-known soccer players in the world, and Riley's just happy to have those three Canadians just to get them into practice and training and see if they maybe can get on the pitch a little bit today. Alli thought she was held, no call there.
That's a nice little interchange in between Taylor and the outside mid, just to get into the front of the play.
Hustling back for that one is Williamson, and she'll send it right back to Augerer. Betos was in goal for the Thorns last week, was just brilliant with some dynamic saves. Augerer getting the nod today.
She looks in good form, too. Paul talked about her and how she's ready. She came in early when she didn't have to. She had to go back to Germany. When she came back, she came off the plane, so she didn't start last week. But looking at her in warm-ups and practice, she's ready to go, and she's fit to start.
Again, this is a Western New York club that may take a while to kind of find some continuity, as Aaron Lyons had some massive shifts after last year's disappointing campaign. They will show some speed on the flanks. Gone are the likes of Wambach, Carly Lloyd, Sam Kerr, Reynolds, Vicky Losada. And of course, Zerboni and Williamson coming from New York to this Portland club via trades. Long ball up top.
It's going to be a nice little matchup in the middle with Sam Ewis from UCLA. She's a big-time player, played with some of our national teams, youth and senior team, gotten a little time there. So it's going to be really good to see her inserted against this talented midfield that we have.
All those UCLA faces dotting this Western New York lineup. And all those all those choices out of the first round, I should say, from the recent draft. This is a young Western New York club.
Lines has put together a team, so it's going to be interesting to see how they come out and how they gel together. They've had a little bit of time. They've had that first game under their belt. They have a lot of experience that should gel together.
Williams goes flying. Good Portland defense, and Williams gets it right back. Some nice possession soccer by Western New York. Here's Williams. She can fly. Another one of those rookies. Williams again. Angerer gobbles it up.
That's a nice early test for the keeper, just to get the hands on the ball. Not a super tough shot, but well struck.
Williams out of Pepperdine, the number 6 overall pick. A deliberate Portland attack. Well struck, Heath. Jody Taylor. Jody Taylor.
That's a well-timed run by Taylor. Those two are working really well together. Heath saw her and delivered a great ball over the top of the back, right into Taylor's path. Well played, ran onto it. Wasn't able to quite catch up to it in time to get a difficult shot off, but it shows a good attack in the beginning of the game.
Paul Riley calls Jody Taylor, who was an absolute stud at Oregon State just a few years back, one of the best forwards he's ever coached. Just loves the way she can move without the ball, and then once she possesses, very creative.
That was a great example by her of exactly what Paul Riley was talking about with those runs.
Way off her line is Angerer. LaRue breathing down her neck. And here's Heath again, playing that wingback slot.
High up the field, just like he was having her do last week. She's still playing a little bit high, getting into the attack and combining well with attacking midfielders and that target forward in Taylor.
So Heath and Johnson were given that wingback role last week. Played very, very well. And Farley and Zerboni really kept things in order in that midfield. 5th minute here at Providence Park. The Thorns and Flash scoreless at the moment. Just a perfect day for soccer, and another wonderful crowd here to cheer the Thorns on. Sending it wide on this near side. Long is able to collect. Heath had a notion with the left foot. Instead, it's Long on this near sideline. Crossing inside, beautiful dish. Back heel.
Nice little creative spiciness out of Shim, as we've come to expect and want to see out of her. That's great. You see the service into those players, into their runs. They know each other. What they did in the beginning game, what they showed in the beginning game, the Thorns showed in the beginning game, is coming out again in this game, which is one of the questions we had for them. Are they going to be consistent this year? Are they going to bring the talent that they have onto the field? And so far they're doing it. You can see it in the attack.
They outshot Boston, did the Thorns, 23-9. Last year, that didn't necessarily result in a victory. They outshot everybody last year, but didn't necessarily get the kind of goals they were hoping for. 4 goals in that opener. Game, set, match in terms of what Riley was looking for.
Some of the quality has definitely risen this year. I think they're pushing each other. They have a good look at trying to not just do the big ideas, the big goals that everybody talks about, but the process. We talked about that last week. Paul has continued to talk to the team. The team is talking about it in interviews. Everybody's excited about the details of the game, and that's what makes the difference for them at this level.
Nicely played by Taylor, right back to Heath, and the Thorns will switch fields. Again, a very patient Thorns club, working both sides of the pitch. Heath, very clever there. Alli tried to get a head on that service.
Again, that service is not that far off. She only missed her by about 2 inches, or maybe misjudged her jumping ability a bit.
Alli Long at 5'8", needed to be about 5'10".
And she would have had that one, definitely.
It's interesting, Aaron Lyons not at all frustrated with the performance of D'Angelo between the pipes last week, despite giving up the 5 goals. You know, Western New York only trailed 1-0 at halftime, and that's when, of course, Rapinoe went nuts in the second half. But basically, they were happy with the Flash with how D'Angelo played as a rookie in the net.
She did excellent. She faced a lot of challenges, and I think what you really have to look at is the number of shots and the save percentage she had. She led the league in save percentage, so which means she turned away a lot of shots.
You bet.
So for her, she was pretty successful.
Another one of those rookies for Lines is D'Angelo, coming out of South Carolina.
Rookies are nice because they don't know any better. They don't know to be nervous. They just get in there and do their job really well.
Farley a little too heavy on that touch. And Williams with the direct ball that Zerboni and company will gladly collect and try and get something going near midfield. Scoreless here in the 9th minute.
Paul also talked before the game about New York laying off a little bit and playing a lower line, and you can see they're really starting just over the half line.
Yep.
So it's not completely low pressure, but it's lower than most teams. They're letting the Thorns come out of the back and kind of work the ball around. The nice thing is the Thorns are being patient with it. They're not really, sometimes when teams lay off you try to force it, and they're not trying to force it. They're really looking for those openings or create those seams, which is really good to see from this club.
And there was a turnover there as Zerboni gave it up, but if they can maintain possession with patience, I think that bodes well for this Portland club. Dahlkemper with the direct style there. That's another thing Paul talked about before the game, was that there may be some chucking of the ball, you know, just deep over that Portland back line, maybe to catch them napping and use the speed on the wings.
They might try to exploit those matchups. If they feel like the matchup is a little in their favor, they might kind of go at it with that ball over the top or that ball through.
Alaska Airlines flyers can now enjoy free entertainment to their own device. Learn more at alaskaair.com/beyond. Neither team with any real serious threats. Shim had that back heel that just didn't have really any juice on it. And Heath and Taylor narrowly missing with each other. And we remain scoreless. The Flash have had 1 shot on goal. Long looking for an opening. We'll find Heath on this near sideline. Attracts a crowd immediately. Is able to turn and wants to push.
You can see New York dropping. Now they in that last series they were a little inside their own half. So they're really trying to compact the field and make the Thorns work for it to try to find those seams.
So again, no Hollaback with the left hamstring strain, suffered in training this past Thursday. Questionable is Alex Morgan with the left knee contusion. Neither one serious, but Rachel definitely will not play. And again, Alex they list as questionable, probably more doubtful. Ooh, cleared at the last second.
I think Paul's really trying to take care of those players. He does a good job of not just looking at this game, but the long term. I mean, the season has just started, so you really need to take care of them and make sure, and especially in Rachel's case, that she's all right for the rest of the season.
Thought maybe Farley would take a crack at it. Bodies flying in that 18, nothing called. And a good no call.
It's good to see in the 11th minute that the referees let him play a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, Alli's a physical player, and when she goes down, she gets it. She probably would have done the same thing if she were defending her own 18. So here we are, 13th minute, the 1-0 Thorns taking on the Western New York club. The Flash looking for their first victory of this young season. Points critical to all clubs with the World Cup looming. And rosters obviously changing as all these internationals join their respective teams. Long up top, Taylor trying to flag it down. Smart play by D'Angelo to come off her line.
They've been very, very good in their service. They have hit a few long balls. They are trying to get over the top or find that space behind, but they've been very accurate and in timing too.
Beautiful dispossessed by Shim, and here's Long, leaving it for Heath. Tobin. That's good defense by the Flash, not waiting and making things happen.
I think Paul would have liked to see Tobin take on a little bit more. She looked a little hesitant, kind of looking at the line and didn't want to go at them.
Look at the speed of LaRue. Crossing past, nobody there. But boy, did you see the Jets on her. No surprise there.
She can get forward. She can fly by people if she wants to.
Nice ball by Hinkle. Mewis loses it. Again, the Thorns using both sides of the field, trying to stretch that Western New York defense. But the Flash have played very well defensively to this point. Again, stepping up nicely. This time it was Becky Edwards. Edwards coming to Western New York via a trade with Houston. She and Whitney Engen, great additions to lines in this Western New York club. Forcing that one just a bit. Well, you can just see the Flash wanting to clog things defensively and try and get something go on the counter. Beautiful job by Menges there. There are some quicks wearing New York unis, that's for sure. And Spencer's one of them. But a beautiful pick by Menges.
They do have some speed up top in Williams, LaRue, and Spencer. Those three can go at them if they're not caught too low on the field, if they're able to get numbers up and get into the play.
And Edwards has just been everywhere so far for Western New York. Again, the veteran. Played darn near every minute for Houston last year. And is just one of those stabilizing players, one of the best in the league, no doubt about it. I think Thorns fans would agree.
Definitely, and you have Sam Mewis as the up-and-comer, too.
You bet.
She's solid, so those two together are going to be, I think, do a good job for that team.
Mewis and Dahlkemper are just going to be terrific. Played together at UCLA, two of the best in the business in terms of collegiate players.
They did, both 1 year after the other, getting voted Player of the Year.
In the Pac-12. And, you know, it's a talent that I think Lyons is very eager to show off immediately. He said last year, I'm not happy with how this went. You know, when we finish at 8, 12, and 4 and in 7th place, don't make the playoffs, we're changing things. And boy, he meant business, huh?
Let's clean house.
Yeah.
Let's clean house and bring in the people that are going to buy into the system and really get out there and show what they can do and push those players that are there now.
Again, Heath on this near sideline. Long leaves it go. Smart. Here's Monashim with the left foot, trying to get some kind of space. Can't quite do it. Cutting back nicely, Kendall Johnson.
You know, I really would have liked to see Monashim take on the same thing when Tobin Heath cut in a couple minutes ago. She kind of looked around and she wanted to lay it off. Monashim is faced up top of the 18 with, she had two defenders, but basically make it a 1v1, get around, and you're on goal. Instead, passing it off to the corner, which, you know, gets Johnson in the play, but it's also farther outside, a little bit harder of an angle to do anything with.
Edmonds doing a really nice job marking Johnson 1v1 there, and I'm with you. I'm waiting for one of those left foot cracks coming from either Heath or Shim. Spencer, again, with the speed. Menges trying to stay with her. Sliding over at the last second is Kat Williamson. Beautifully done.
That's great coverage on defense. I mean, they're in the 3, but the reason that Paul Riley is doing it because he knows, he understands that they have the ability to cover for each other and do the job.
Again, that direct style, trying to find Taylor behind the flash defense, not successful.
Well, Taylor's not slow either, so I think they're going to continue to look for her on that. She can get in behind with those runs and with the great service that they're giving.
18th minute here at Providence Park. Another great crowd on hand. Thorns taking on the Western New York Flash. Things a little bottled up in the middle there. Zerboni's pass deflected. You watched Betos play some brilliant football between the pipes for the Thorns last week. It's a nice conundrum for Paul Riley to have basically two number ones right now in Betos and her improvement and Angerer.
They're only going to get better. The nice thing is that they can push each other, and you get the most out of yourselves and out of your entire team if everybody's level is raising. It makes the goalkeepers better. It also makes the forwards better. It makes the rest of the team better that have to beat them.
Shim had an idea. Kendall Johnson. There's Long. Couldn't get ahead on it.
Not quite the whipped in ball you want, but still a great service from Johnson on the outside, trying to find Alli Long on the back post.
Shim again very active in the 18, but the Flash defense has been really good staying home and dispossessing or at least deflecting.
Thorns have not been numbers up most of the time. They've had great service and they've been accurate, which is great. But with all of the New York team there, they're having to beat multiple people.
So Heath, very slow to get up. And it'll be Western New York's ball.
D'Angelo has a really nice long ball. It's not that far out of her goal to take this on the side of the field, but she can hit a 50 to 60-yard ball.
Canadian under 20 female player of the year not too long ago. They're very, very high on her. Third round pick from South Carolina, and here she is starting in the pro leagues. Engen, what an addition she has been.
Nice little national team player coming to the New York Flash.
You bet. Hinkle. And Heath. Look at Tobin, a little flick to Alli. And the whistle will blow.
Referees never really liked that ball played on the ground here in Oregon. I think if we were in any other state, that might get away with that, but it seemed to always be called.
Well, Karen App didn't like it. And Tobin Heath didn't like the whistle.
Might be a marginal call.
You just tell it like it is, Janine Sparrow. I love that. You just go ahead and weigh in. I thought it was a nice little flick.
Oh, from Tobin Heath.
Yeah.
True. It's but like I said, for some reason, the referees just aren't too fond of that.
Boy, and you're right about D'Angelo's leg. She's got a really strong leg. Play on. It's been a physical match so far. Clever by Shim. And again, a patient Thorns attack has been thwarted by rock-solid defense.
And they're starting to press. New York is stepping up. You got Sam Hughes after that ball.
I like it.
Sydney LaRue pressing inside the 18.
Look at LaRue. Got to be careful here. And here comes the heat. You can hear the crowd react.
Nothing like playing possession in your own box.
Well, let's see if the counter can get something going here. Again, that left flank. Johnson again marked by Edmonds. This has been a really fun 1v1 tail of the tape so far.
Johnson's got to take on its speed. It's one of the few times that they've really been numbers even 5v5 up in there, but she slows the attack, which basically allows the defense to get back, comfortable, set, organized, and then nothing really comes out of it. I think they got to do a little bit better job of that 1v1 attacking.
Johnson headed away. That was Hinkle, but the Thorns will keep it in their attacking third. D'Angelo! Oh, kind of an excuse me goal. Alli Long with the game's first goal as D'Angelo comes way off her line. A collision results in the goal.
D'Angelo got caught a little bit in no man's land out there. She started coming from the ball, and a great service again. Their service is precise. It is so accurate, right to her head. D'Angelo comes out. She's a little bit late. Doesn't quite come through the ball and can't extend past Alli Long, who I think might have a couple inches on her. And Alli just gets it over the top of her and into the goal.
So what a ball by Farley. And in the 22nd minute, the Portland Thorns get on the board. Alli Long picking up from where she left off last week with the brace.
She did. She's not stopping. And the nice thing is the entire team seems like it's a continuation. There hasn't been this lull or this change or this loss of confidence or anything. They're just going forward and doing the job.
And again, here comes now an attacking Western New York club that wants to get numbers forward and really push the issue. The new guacamole burger or chicken sandwich at McDonald's, made with Haas avocados, served with freshly made pico de gallo and a slice of lime. Try today, paired with your choice of sizzling 100% beef or tender, delicious chicken at participating McDonald's. So Long with her third goal of the season. Farley with her first assist of the season, and that got the crowd into it.
They're definitely excited. We got the flares going over there in the end.
Riveters are up to their old tricks, and another nice start for the Portland Thorns. What's critical here, I would imagine, Janine, is that as they did against Boston, the Thorns can't let up for a second.
Continue to press. Again, every goal, most goals are scored after half, beginning of the game, or after a goal is scored. So you watch momentum and see if they're willing to press the issue and see if they can get out another one very quickly.
Portland's back line up near midfield. Taylor trying to win that 50-50 ball. Zerboni has been using the far sideline quite a bit. Taylor trying to one-touch it to Long.
Oh, I'd love to see her spin off that defender and go right on to goal.
Well, you're reading my mind, Janine.
That's because I know you want attack.
Yeah, heck yeah. Williams. 3 Thorns around her. Zerboni colliding with Dahlkemper. And Edwards makes sure that it's in the hands of Mewis and company. Mewis can go with that left foot. Right at Angerer.
That's the type of thing we're talking about at the other end as well for the Thorns. So she looked around, tried to see if she could lay it off. She looked at her goal and then decided she could go forward and got the shot off, which is really good, trying to get that attack for New York.
Heath, beautiful one touch to herself, and she will carry. Heath will leave it. Long, and the offside flag goes up.
That's a tough ball. That's hard to stay on sides, as it's getting closer to the 18 to kind of hold your run and wait for Tobin Heath to slide that ball in. So it's a hard line to play. But Tobin Heath did a better job that time. She did attack, maybe not quite as much at the speed we'd like to see, but a little bit more than she was doing before. So that's good. That's good on her part.
The Flash defenders putting their arms up immediately, looking for that offside call. Not a hard one to make, but not that far off target in terms of that timing. Hinkle's able to find Mewis, but again, the Flash give it up, and here comes Portland on the counter, leading 1-0 on Alli Long's goal in the 22nd minute. D'Angelo coming way off her line to try and disrupt the flick header. Beautiful ball by Farley, but Long was able to get her noggin on it for her third goal of the season. Portland able to keep it in their offensive third, a little scoop. Shim not able to catch up. Nicely played by D'Angelo.
That's nice to see a little bit something different, a different kind of ball to try to get them in there. That was good creativity on Zerboni's part.
McCall and Farley had such great games last week in the openers, and quickly the fans settling in to expect that kind of control in the midfield.
It's true. They've come out that same way. They're still as dominant this week as they were last week.
Uh-oh, look out, Mewis with the left foot. Nope. Sam just a little bit off. Of course, her sister Christy we saw last week with the Boston Breakers.
We did. Nice to see two sisters in the league doing a great job, and both of them also played with the youth national teams as well and came up through the programs, good solid college programs. It's nice to see the youth in the States getting better and pushing the line.
Smartly played. Heath again double teamed and gives it up. Williams with the quick feet and getting it right back though is Farley. Teams trading turnovers at this point. Nice one-touch passing by the Thorns. But inside the 18 again, Western New York pretty darn tough so far. It was kind of an unlucky goal given up by the Flash as they play catch-up for the second straight weekend. Heath double, beautiful ball. Shim, middle of the pitch, and room to carry. Tried to slot it through to Taylor. The Flash would have none of that.
They were well covered up top, and it was a two against four, trying to slot that ball in. But you can see that the interchange and the working together, it's good. They have such good chemistry, and they really are a very knowledgeable team of how each other plays, which is good for only the second game in.
Here's Heath. Looking to find the head of Long again. Alli was looking for the foul.
Looks like D'Angelo learned a lesson just a little bit and stayed home that time and let her defenders do their jobs and just kind of stayed their line.
That was that split decision on Long's goal where in hindsight she'll learn, if I would have stayed home, I think I would have made an easy save. You never know though on those flick headers. And Long will be credited with her third goal of the season. So we see this Flash defense. Now we'll get back to them in a second as they push forward. Beautiful ball in space. Right at Ungerer.
Not a pump for Ungerer at all. Just stepping right up and getting that ball.
What can the Portland Thorns do to try and loosen up this Flash defense that wants to bunker down a little bit in their defensive third?
Well, they're starting to step up a little bit. I mean, they're a little bit higher. They were trying to stay really low, and now I think they're naturally kind of coming apart a little bit, just a little bit. They're still tight. They're still not overstretched. The Flash are not overstretched. But the nice thing the Thorns are doing is they still have that patience with the ball at their feet.
Mewis charging hard, so Nadine coming way out to the top of the box. Enough time now for the Thorns defense to get settled.
They have all their numbers back. They do a good job. They do move up and back as a unit, so they haven't been very stretched or in trouble. But even now, they have all their numbers and they're set to shut down anything that's coming forward.
LaRue. Billy flops and draws the foul.
Maybe there was slight contact there on that one.
Hey, she's world class. She sold it really well. This is a dangerous ball now for the Portland Thorns defense. Engen getting everybody settled over the ball. Mewis, the rookie, will get the nod on this free kick. Let's see how she attacks the wall or maybe tries to get creative up top. And it's not Mewis. Yes, it is. That ball is alive and dangerous. Mewis again collects. She'll leave it for Spencer. Mewis is one of those players, I think, Janine, that by about game 3, she'll be playing like an absolute seasoned veteran. She's just so smart on the pitch.
I think you're right.
A lot of room for Shim. Heath wanted to get a running Long at the end of that service. Misread each other, so here comes Western New York on the counter. Hinkle has to come back for it. Flash throw in here in the 33rd minute at Providence Park. The Thorns leading Western New York 1-0 on Long's goal in the 22nd minute.
This is probably the most time that New York has spent this high up the field this game. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it and if they're able to utilize the situation and kind of get something more out of it, get another threatening chance on goal.
It'll be critical to not turn the ball over in this area of the field for the Thorns defense. Of Western New York's 8 wins last year, their most signature victory was that 5-0 shellacking right here in Portland. And at the time, it was a record-setting performance by Western New York. But they suffered a pretty tough stretch where they went something like 1-4-1 or 1-5-1 and quickly fell out of playoff contention, and that's when Line said, okay, I'm changing things. I like the looks of this club.
He wanted to start new, and I think he did. I think he started brand new.
I like some of the additions. I love how boldly he went with some draft picks and gave up some quality players.
Sometimes you got to shake things up.
You bet.
You know, and then you start again. You start with a new group. You tell them what you want to do, hope they buy in, and start from a position of strength instead of catch-up.
Mewis gives it up. Long collects it midfield. No numbers, so Taylor will just leave it for Heath on this near sideline. Again, Janine and I talking about the patient Portland Thorns attack, especially from the midfield on into the attacking third.
I've seen that last build-up. The Thorns were 3v7, so instead of trying to press that bad issue or play another ball in long, they drop it back to the back, go into the center, come out again.
What do you think of that?
I think it's good. I think they're being consistent. That's the biggest thing for me. You knew they were talented last year. You knew the Thorns had good players and a good team. There's just some things they had to put together. And so it seems like now they are, and that's the best thing as you see this. You're going to get to see the entire season develop. This is the second game. They did a great job in the first game. They're starting to do a great job. They're 1-up in the 35th minute. So everything seems to be coming together, and again, it's as Paul Riley scripted it.
So LaRue called for the foul as Kat goes down hard. And boy, she took some contact on that head. No doubt about it. Stayed down for a second, did the third-year pro. And how great is it to have Kat Williamson, thank you very much, Aaron Lyons, back here in Portland.
I think, that's what Paul Riley had talked about. He wanted to get her back. He didn't want to let her go, but he got the best player in the world at the time. And then the first thing he was able to do, he brought her back to Portland.
He said, I'm going to do what I can. I'd make the same move over and over to get Vero, but I'm going to try and get you back, and he did.
There are tough decisions when you're talking about, you're trading people, and that always sounds a little bit odd, but people as players, and that's the thing that you have to remember. There's pieces of a puzzle you're trying to fit together, and if you're trying to get the right, it's not just that player, but who that player plays with and all around them and the effect they have on the entire game. So he did what he had to do in the professional situation, and then, good to his word, he was able to bring her back when he could.
You get Vero out of that, you do it over and over. Taylor keeps it in play, leaves it for Heath. Thorns would love to add another before halftime. Already leading 1-0. Shim dispossessed. Not a lot of movement off the ball on that possession.
Not many runs by many people, but at least you see Mana Shim. You could tell by what she was trying to do, she was setting herself up to go 1v1.
Williams, beautiful job. Trying to cut back against Menges. Williams still with the foot on it. Mewis, LaRue. Ball knocked about, and here's Williams. Just wide. Williams very active on that last push by Western New York.
I tell you, Mangus did a great job to shut that play down because New York had 2 players far post who were unmarked at the time with a little bit of ball movement, but that defense is solid. They come back, they helped out. They were able to, they did get the shot off, but Anger had it covered, and she would not have had a problem with it.
Nadine reading that angle nicely and really cutting down the angle for Williams. Speaking of, there's Williams again, showing some great footwork. Foul's going to go against the Thorns. Lynn Williams out of Pepperdine. She's going to be a good one.
There are some talented players out here. That's the amazing thing about this league. You know, these players don't really get into their full game and develop until later in life. And for the women, usually, or it has been, that you are done after college. Well, at 22 to be done, there's so many good years of soccer left in you. Some of these players have no idea how good they can be. And we're just starting to see it. And we're starting to see it because we have a league.
So many folks looking at this third year, Janine, of the NWSL as one of the pivotal years. Obviously, the World Cup will disrupt and shut down play for a little bit. Fewer games. The season will go longer because of the World Cup. How do you feel the league is doing?
It seems great. I think the a little bit interesting thing is that we're here in Portland, and it's a great team and a great stadium, and they have such a great program here that we get a little bit excited. We think everybody is like this. We do have the highest attendance. But one of the reasons we have the highest attendance is because the soccer is so good. So hoping that that translates and that people in those other markets and with those other teams can kind of catch up and see what we have to offer, what as a league there is to offer, and that they should come out to the game. They can support women's soccer. They can support soccer in general. There's so many kids playing that it's a great thing to be able to do, and we just hope that it continues to catch fire after the World Cup.
Well, it's great to see FC Kansas City in their home opener and their new digs. They had 8,500. Very impressive, and Houston had 6,000 in its second year after being the expansion club last year. That's a good sign. And, of course, Portland with over 13,000. Uh-oh. Boy, I'll tell you what.
The automatic hands up.
Yeah, Spencer wanted a call there, and the hands went up as she was dispossessed, but pretty good Portland Thorns defense.
A good, solid 2 players there. Really nicely done. They were controlled. There was nothing really out of it. She just didn't get her way and was trying to plead her case to the ref.
Fill up with 8 gallons or more at participating 76 stations to receive a voucher for 2 free general admission Thorn tickets. Visit timbers.com/76 for more details. 41st minute. The Portland Thorns, thanks to an Alli Long goal in the 22nd minute, leading Western New York here at Providence Park. Beautiful day, great crowd on hand. There's Long again. Beautiful ball, and the flag goes up. And you see Long and Jody Taylor say, we're getting there, we're getting close.
Such great soccer. A little bit of an outside of the foot ball from Alli Long. Taylor turns and hits it at first time as soon as she can. And again, you get to see D'Angelo. Great touch on the ball. That's a great save.
Great save. I don't care if it's offside or not. D'Angelo really read that.
And those things mean a lot to your defenders. Even though it's called offsides, it means something. What your defenders and your team is saying now is like, she's got our back. Like, we're okay back there. Even with this great play that was offsides, she hit a great ball, and it's like, we're okay, we're solid.
I agree. Confidence builder. Here's Williams, who's been very active, leaving it for Mewis. Mewis with the left foot. Kat Williamson deflects that. Western New York looking for the equalizer. Instead, it'll be Tobin. Heath with the ball on this near sideline and leaving it for Farley.
I don't think the Thorns will get too comfortable. I haven't seen them get too comfortable, but the dangerous thing out of Western New York is their immediate attack. They transition very well. They get the ball, they get it off quickly. Some of our buildup, or some of the Thorns buildup up top, is just a little bit thought out, a little bit slow. They're like trying to find a little bit too much. But like Mewis right now is going and attacking. She's ready to go to goal.
Mewis had a really good idea, and it looked like LaRue kind of looked over the wrong shoulder looking for the ball and lost it for just a second. She had a step on that defender.
So LaRue hasn't been with that team that long either. She's just come in. So those two are maybe trying to get to know each other just a little bit. And you can see Mew is looking for her, and she knows what she wants to do. So with time, this team is going to be solid. They're going to do a lot and threaten a lot of teams.
Working that left side again is Johnson. I mean, the soccer world said, what? When that trade was announced, Seattle sending LaRue to Seattle, most notably in that trade for the rights to Abby Wambach, who told Western New York, I'm not playing this year to concentrate on the World Cup. And it's interesting because LaRue said, you know, Seattle, I wouldn't mind a trade to Kansas City where my husband plays professionally. And they said, oh, yeah? Well, how about we're sending you to New York instead?
Yeah, they're interesting ideas. You never quite know. People tend to make very finite thinking or thoughts about certain players, certain situations. In the coach's mind, again, it goes back to that puzzle. You've got to find this player that plays well with the 3 to 4 players directly around her and in conjunction or linking with the rest of the team. So there's a lot of thought that goes into what the moves are and what you want to do. And cleaning house, you know, the coach has brought in, Lines has brought in some really great players and putting together a good solid club.
Lines calls LaRue his franchise player. You'd have to agree with that.
Yeah, I'd probably go with D'Angelo at this point, but that's kind of the defender in me.
You're a goalkeeper. What are you talking about? That is just nonsense.
Okay, it's LaRue. She's the franchise.
All right, here we go. 44th minute. You goalkeepers always come up with the wackiest stuff.
Well, no one ever wants to give us credit, so I figured
we do too.
I got to give the keepers a little bit of a shout out there.
I like the way this Flash Club has played defense. I think they've stayed composed, and they've really stuck to the game plan.
Very disciplined. You know, Paul thought that they were going to come out in a lower line, and they are doing exactly that. They're doing what they're told to do. They're sticking to their game plan as well.
And Portland's defense, just as tough, just as effective staying home.
Nicely done. And part of that, too, is that they're defending as a team. I mean, they don't get separated. If those 3 backs got isolated on their own against those 3 forwards, they'd be in trouble. But that's not the case. The midfield for the Thorns is really strong and doing a great job of playing team offense and defense.
Dangerous ball. Angerer coming way off her line. The ball stayed alive as she got a mid on it. And then Nadine was able to dive on it and snuff out any kind of flash threat.
Make a little bit more of a meal out of that one than maybe there was there, but she did a great job. She's coming way off her line to kind of control and say, look, this is still my box.
So no stoppage time, and that'll be the end of the first half. Alli Long's goal in the 22nd minute, just a beautiful assist from Farley, results in the 1-0 Portland lead. An impressive first half for the Portland Thorns defensively and getting that 1 goal. Western New York playing some great defense, and they're very much in it. When we come back with our halftime show getting started here at Providence Park, we'll take an in-depth look at how Alex Morgan is feeling about being back here in Portland. Back in just a moment.
Don't do it! Your account balance is $38. How much is that?
It's $40.
40. With an overdraft fee of $35? Is that blouse really worth $75? It doesn't even have sleeves.
We have shirts with sleeves.
Don't get charged overdraft fees. Switch to the new KeyBank hassle-free account. It's a checkless account with payment options and no monthly fees.
From an early age, I knew I was destined for greatness. Dad would say,
Eres un has abocado, mijo. Eres especial.
Dad was right. I was ripe for big things. Not typical expected things, but bold, more exciting things. So I carried on until one day I found my true calling.
Discover new guacamole sandwiches at McDonald's with freshly made pico de gallo and guacamole made with Hass avocados.
I made the big time, Dad.
Sometimes the best night out is a fancy night in. Introducing Gourmet Delights, only at Papa Murphy's. delicious grown-up ingredients like Angus steak and spicy fennel sausage on a crispy, thin crust. Home bake a Papa Murphy's Gourmet Delight pizza, just $11. Fresh made, fresh baked, fresh gourmet. Papa Murphy's. Love at 425 degrees.
Hey sports fans, do you want to get in shape? Text LA Fitness to 50500 for a complimentary guest pass to your local LA Fitness. That's LA Fitness to 50500. Exercise your options.
Giving back to the community is very important to our family.
Help the Portland community and buy your 50/50 raffle tickets at every Timbers and Thorns home game. As a current board member of AC Portland, I know they're making a difference in the community through sports and education. 50% of the jackpot benefits Active Children Portland and the Stand Together Fields for All program. To participate, look for the 50/50 signs at home games and visit timbers.com/5050 for more information.
Welcome back to the KeyBank Halftime Show. The Portland Thorns leading Western New York 1-0. We are at halftime at Providence Park. You know, no doubt this year in the NWSL is going to be kind of a wacky one. Smack dab in the middle of our season, of course, is the World Cup campaign. Players coming and going from all kinds of rosters, and Portland is no different. Alex Morgan is one of those players who will be with the U.S. women's national team as the World Cup awaits. And she talks about this delicate balance of being so thrilled to be here in Portland while the World Cup stage awaits. How on earth do you navigate knowing that you're here for a few weeks, knowing where you're going, knowing what looms ahead, but you said this is a priority, but yet you know the World Cup is awaiting. How do you navigate and prioritize your day-to-day world, for goodness sakes?
Honestly, I mean, I think naturally this is good preparation for me for the World Cup. You know, if I get whatever minutes I get, you know, hopefully 60, 80, 90, whatever it may be, I want to contribute as much as I can. And I think that's going to help me and my confidence in the World Cup. So I got to think as much as I can contribute to the team here, that's going to help me even more going into the World Cup.
You were playing with the Thorns and a United States team in respective towns and venues that have great possibilities. Yeah. Things are going well for Alex Morgan.
I think things are going well in general for women's soccer. I mean, yeah, I'm feeling real happy with where I am. I'm feeling confident. I feel the momentum that the national team has had moving through these last couple months and now going into the World Cup with less than 60 days left. So it's a really good time in my life. And I mean, how can it not be in a World Cup year? It only comes around once every 4 years. And, you know, I'm with Portland for the third season, and it's just, it's an exciting time. How can it not be?
And it's interesting you bring up the third season. Folks, we're looking at this third year in our league as a very pivotal one, obviously syncing up with the World Cup. What can this year tell folks about the health of the NWSL?
Well, I think just the continued awareness of the league. I think the World Cup will continue to help that. And then just the fans, you know, obviously the product on the field makes the league, but the fans help keep it alive. And so just continuing to see what this amazing city does and trying to replicate that in other cities. And there's obviously a lot of interest from so many MLS teams, and, you know, you just see how well that this women's team has done here, how well the Thorns have strived in this environment. And you know, it's so super important for the NWSL to continue to do well. It's important to continue to develop players. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of practice players we have that are really good. The quality is continuing to improve, and I think that will help us in the continuation of development of the national team and seeing players from this league and picking them up for the national team.
And you know what's cool is when you have to take off and honor the national commitments, obviously, in World Cup play, you mentioned the Riveters, you mentioned these Portland fans, they're going to be making the trek up to Canada. They're going up to the border, baby, and you'll be hearing some folks chanting your name with Thorns gears on.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't heard much about that, so I think in the next couple weeks I'll hear a little bit of stories from the Riveters, but that'll be awesome. I'm really excited for that. Yeah, I mean, looking forward to that third game in Vancouver for sure, and I think we might have a lot of fans this time around, maybe more than the opponent. For sure.
You wait. guaranteeing you there will be a ton of Thorns fans up there in Vancouver, BC.
It'll be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, like I said before, Riveters are unique. They are loud.
It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, no, they're awesome, and that's, brings a smile to my face when I'm thinking about them right now, and just the fact that Saturday this stadium's going to be rocking.
Always great to hear from Alex Morgan, one of the greats. All right, Janine and I will be back in just a moment to break down the first half. The KeyBank halftime show will continue. The Portland Thorns leading Western New York 1-0 at the break.
You wake up. Your back hurts. Again. You need a new mattress, but hate shopping for one. Just go to a Park Lane. Crafted in Oregon. Sold only in Park Lane stores at a true minimum price. They'll match the way you sleep to the Park Lane's best for you. Delivered in 2 trucks. The blue one only delivers fresh, just-made Park Lanes. The green one only hauls old mattresses to recycling. Enjoy every night on a Park Lane. Rest well for years to come.
From an early age, I knew I was destined for greatness. Dad would say,
Eres un has abocado, mijo. Eres especial.
Dad was right. I was ripe for big things. Not typical expected things, but bold, more exciting things. So I carried on until one day I found my true calling.
Discover new guacamole sandwiches at McDonald's with freshly made pico de gallo and guacamole made with Hass avocados.
I made the big time, Dad.
Tire Factory doesn't make tires. They will make you happy by selling top brands like Goodyear, Nokian, and Hankook. So why the name? Well, 30 years ago, over coffee at a Sherry's, 5 tire store owners reasoned if they combined their purchases, they could save their customers money. Worked then, works now, with over 200 stores in the West. See for yourself. Need tires or service? Trust what you love to Tire Factory, where you'll always have the owner's name on it.
Welcome back to the KeyBank halftime show. We're at Providence Park, where the hometown Portland Thorns lead Western New York. The score is 1-0 at halftime. And shots along with Janine Sparra. Let's talk about that first half. Obviously, Portland able to get on the board, but Western New York's defense was pretty darn good.
They were. They had numbers back in the defense the entire time. They kind of laid off a little bit, which allowed those players to be there. So there wasn't any regrouping they had to do.
Okay.
They were able to defend 1 and 2 versus 1. So they did have more numbers than the Thorns did, which was nice for them. The nice thing for the Thorns was that they were so accurate in what they were trying to do that they found a couple seams, they found a couple places to get through or over them, and that's what led to the goal.
Did you like the deliberate attack and that style of play by the Portland Thorns, especially from the middle building up?
I do. I do like the attack. I like what they're trying to do because it's thoughtful, and they're being critical soccer players. They're really thinking out there about the game. I think the one thing that I would like to see, and the criticism I have with women's soccer in general, is that they don't attack 1v1 enough and fast enough. They don't have that bite to go after the goal.
And quickly, Portland's defense. Were you happy with that back line? Nemec making the start.
Definitely. They were not caught, but a couple of times they were in lower number situations where it was 2 attackers versus 3 defenders, but they did well. They were fine with it. So it showcased their 1v1 defending skills. So they are a very solid bunch, and that's why they can play 3.
Sounds good. All right, we're going to wrap up this segment of the KeyBank halftime show. When we come back, we're going to have some highlights for you, including Alli Long's 3rd goal of the season. That has given Portland the 1-0 lead at halftime. Stick around. Back in just a second.
Pilots with numbers. Rapino sees it, and it's in! Octavius, tee it up. Shot on target! What a goal!
Thorns looking to cross. Quanto in front. Clear! Right at the keeper! And then Christian puts it away!
You have fun. You will win. And you'll make me very, very happy.
Don't do it! Your account balance is $38. How much is that?
It's $40.
40. With an overdraft fee of 35 bucks? Is that blouse really worth $75? It doesn't even have sleeves.
We have shirts with sleeves.
Don't get charged overdraft fees. Switch to the new KeyBank hassle-free account. It's a checkless account with payment options and no monthly fees.
From an early age, I knew I was destined for greatness. Dad would say,
Eres un has abocado, mijo. Eres especial.
Dad was right. I was ripe for big things. Not typical expected things, but bold, more exciting things. So I carried on until one day I found my true calling.
Discover new guacamole sandwiches at McDonald's with freshly made pico de gallo and guacamole made with Hass avocados.
I made the big time, Dad.
Here at Providence Park, at halftime, the Portland Thorns leading Western New York 1-0. Initially, it was Mana Shim kind of pushing the envelope a little bit. You like how creative she can be.
I do. I call her a little spicy.
So obviously, early on, we'll see it right here. Marks the back heel right. Oh!
Great ball in by Alli Long. And again, you know, not the easiest ball to hit, but Mana Shim has some tricks up her sleeve.
Speaking of Alli Long, here's the lone goal right there.
She's ready. She goes up for it. That ball in was so precise. It was right there in Alli's wheelhouse where she could get to it. She just had to jump. She held off a couple people to do it and was able to beat the defender or the goalkeeper again, who got caught a little bit in between both things.
So Alli Long with her third goal of the season. What she has done in her career with the Portland Thorns, pretty impressive. You know, basically her start here ties her with the great Nikki Marshall for career starts. That's at number 46. And Alli, second in games started, minutes played, points and goals, and continues to ride up that ladder as she scores again today.
You talked about the league. You talked about the third year of the league and how important that is, how they're doing. They're doing awesome on a number of different levels. One, again, women's soccer, the development of women's soccer in this country. So you see players like this, you see the Alli Longs and some of these young players like Muse on New York Flash, who you're seeing develop, grow into the game, and are going to be the future of the national team. These players out here are knocking on the national team door. Alli Long was in camp. She was there in January, and she was very close to being on that team. So next go around, you're going to see some of these players that didn't make this roster on the U.S. national team roster.
When I look at the stats, Janine, I see that Western New York has outshot Portland 6-2. Is that a number to be concerned about, or not necessarily?
They haven't had a lot of threatening shots. They had the one that Angerer covered near post. They had the very early shot, which wasn't very threatening at all. She had to frontal dive for it. So while they're getting shots off, they're not ones that are very, as I said, threatening to the goal or something that has a great chance of going in. Angerer, the defense, are dealing with things very well. Now, you do want to cut down on that because any shot has a chance to go in. So you don't want to see them, but what they're giving them isn't really very dangerous.
All right, should note that Rian Wilkinson, the Canadian international, is going to start this second half and make her Portland Thorns debut.
Well, we welcome her to Portland.
You're not kidding. Wilkinson wearing number 22. Allocated to the Portland Thorns club. She's played in the 2012 Olympics for Canada, 3 World Cups, a ton of caps, and great experience. Very versatile player who can play all over the pitch.
Substitute for the Thorns at the beginning of the second half. Into the match, number 22, Rian Wilkinson.
1-0. Just starting the second half. Portland Thorns with the lead. Engen doing a nice job of just kind of cutting in front of Jody Taylor, giving D'Angelo a little time to come off her line.
It's a nice early look going toward goal. Again, we're building back into it, but it's nice to go forward in the first couple minutes.
You think Sink will play today? I'd love to get into the head of Paul Riley right now, and love your thoughts on whether you think Christine Sinclair. Remember, the Canadians just joining Portland Friday, getting in some training. Wilkinson starting the second half. What do you think about Sink's chances of playing?
Well, it's great. It's great to have her here, and it's great to have that kind of tool in your toolbox. So, and he talked about her. His intention is to put her in. He thinks there's going to be space, and he said no matter which way the game is going, that she's going to be inserted. So I think it's just a little bit now of seeing what's left in the people he has out there, giving them a chance to follow through and give all that they have, and then letting her come in.
Before the match, Portland head coach Paul Riley wanted a little bit more up-tempo and more of an attack mind for the offensive third. I got to think perhaps he reminded them of that during halftime.
I'm sure he reminded them of a couple of things just to keep them on their toes. He's always in pushing his team, making sure they're doing well, and even though they're very solid and they're in the lead right now, I'm sure that he said a few things to kind of tighten them up a little bit and try to get them forward more.
Portland coming into this match, Janine, unbeaten in their last 6 home matches dating back to last year. They have given the home crowd a lot to cheer about.
They have. They've always been a solid team, and I think it's nice for them to feel at home here in the stadium and feel it's worth defending and fighting for.
Wilkinson trying to find Taylor. Open shot here. Heath still battling. I'll tell you, on that throw-in, you saw the speed of Rian Wilkinson getting down that flank and getting things started for the Thorns.
It's nice to see. Going forward, attacking again. It's a good, solid second run, and we're about 3 minutes into the second half. So this team does want to attack.
Boy, Heath had a ton of space on top of that 18, just deflecting off a couple of flashes.
She had enough space, she had enough time, and I think it would have been nice if off her first touch she could have put herself in a little bit more with a little bit more of a sense of urgency.
Mew is breathing down Onger's neck, so Nadine tries to clear, but here is the Western New York bunch attacking again. Williams has been all over the pitch. Just a little hard on that touch, unlucky there. Edmonds couldn't catch up to it. Boy, you talked about hardly anybody coming back for this Western New York club. Edmonds, one of 3 returners. That's it. Beautiful job there by Farley. Long tag teamed, and Dahlkemper comes up with it. Good job by the rookie. Smart play. Alaska Airlines offers food and beverages from iconic Northwest brands. Learn more at alaskaair.com/beyond. 50th minute here at Providence Park. Great crowd on hand, beautiful day. Mid-70s north wind, 11 to 15 miles an hour. And anytime you can say clear skies in April, man, we'll take it.
Is it just April, or is it any time you can say clear skies?
Well, this time of year, you know, it's hit and miss, as you well know. You guys got dumped on pretty good. Well, how much rain did you get? I was covering another event last weekend. How much rain did you get here last weekend?
I think we got any rain last year, did we? I don't know. I can't even remember. There's been so little rain. I'm okay with it. It's all good. It's been a really mellow winter this year.
Well, it's perfect on the pitch today.
It's beautiful soccer weather.
Starting this second half, Western New York a little firm on a lot of the touches, short and long. The Thorns do not want to sit on this lead. That killed them a lot of times last year, where leads dissipated by just kind of watching the shot clock. That's not the mentality of this club at all, early on anyway. Pedal is still to the metal. Here comes Western New York. Dangerous here, inside the 18. Centering. Ball still alive. Somehow, some way, Farley comes out with it. Wow! Western New York's best chance, and here they come again. LaRue gets ahead on it. Mewis. Portland's defense is going to have to get settled. Look at Heath. Again. That was Wilkinson breaking things up.
See some good team defending by the Thorns. And that, when Paul Riley talked about those wingbacks, he talked about those wingbacks coming in centrally to help out. That save credited to Johnson on that play. Basically off the line. Nadine couldn't get to it, but she was right there. The team is playing really well and covering each other really well and playing a good game of team defense.
Very cohesive, good communication.
Both teams are really very disciplined as to what they've been sent out there to do. They're both accomplishing it. I think New York is kind of trying to come out a little bit faster, a little bit harder. They've got that speed and very assertive players up top who are trying to go forward and do their job. And if they have those numbers up top, that's what's going to pose problems for the Thorns.
Western New York far more aggressive in these last couple of minutes.
That might have been the conversation at halftime from Lions. If they're sitting on a 1-0 deficit coming into the half, it doesn't take too much, but they're going to have to press forward, and they are. So that's probably one of the things that was discussed and kind of challenged to them to do as they come out in the second half.
Shoved to the ground there was Long, nothing called. Remember, it was that same deficit that Western New York was facing against Seattle last weekend, trailing 1-0 at the half, very much in it, but losing to the Reign 5-1.
They did pull up. They went down 2-0 and then went 2-1 with them. So they did make a comeback for a few minutes. They just got, I think, overwhelmed.
Well, Rapinoe can do that to you. That whole midfield can do that to you. Flag goes up.
It's either a dream or you're offside. It's one of those two.
You see all that real estate.
I'm all alone. There's no one around with the ball at my feet.
Again, Western New York looking to reload and get on the scoreboard, tie things up. Here's Taylor. Spencer goes down hard as Menges got her. Another opportunity for the Flash.
Well, she sold that really well with the 3-roll foul. Like, hey, referee, look at me. I've been fouled hard.
Hey, I'd sell it too.
There you go. You got to do it.
You kidding me?
That's your job.
You know it.
The job is to get the call and get forward, get your team an opportunity. So let's see what they do here with this free kick.
As before, Edwards and Mewis kind of chatting over the ball. Portland's defense is going to have to answer the bell again. Here we go. Mewis. Just over that crossbar. She cracked it pretty good.
I think she touched the back of the net on that one, so she really didn't miss by very much on that shot. Well bent ball. Just didn't quite get enough leg swing on it to get the speed to get that ball to dip down under the bar.
The speed that Western New York possesses and has shown us, and some real creative play by some of the youngsters. I've been really impressed with Williams and Mewis, the rookies. And D'Angelo doing a nice job minding the net so far.
I'd like to give D'Angelo a little bit more work this half. I'd like to see her really get stretched out. A few more shots, few more things that kind of push her as a goalkeeper and give her something to show us. Let's just see how good she is.
Edmonds will carry. Western New York looking for the equalizer. Kendall Johnson playing some good D.
You're seeing Johnson having to come back a little bit more in the defense this half too, which means that New York is pressing forward.
I loved watching the rebroadcast of the match last week with you and Jake, and I think he walked off the paces between center pitch here and Lincoln High School, where Kendall played her soccer best before going to University of Portland. 800 and something steps,
he
right?
He did. He pulled that out.
Way to go, Jake.
I thought, wow, that is really close, isn't it?
I'm going to make you. I'm going to put you to the task after this match. Make sure he was right on that, and then you get back to me.
I will. And then we'll harass him if he's wrong.
Ball into space that Taylor wasn't able to catch up with. D'Angelo comes off her line. Smart there.
Got a little bit of a flat tire on the field. I think she might have got clipped from behind on the in her shoe and
saying, "Hey, give me a break here." And we'll play on.
We'll see how good she is playing one-shoed.
Well, she may have the boot back on, but I'm not sure it's laced up. Here's Jody Taylor trying to stay with it. Hinkle doing a nice job of making sure Jody didn't get something unleashed at D'Angelo, and on the counter, here comes Western New York.
Eunice is pressing that space. She gets the ball and she looks to attack every time straight up.
Long tried with the quick one touch to Taylor. Trying to get Taylor involved. We should mention that Alex Morgan probably will not play today with the left knee contusion. Nothing serious. Rachel Van Hollebeck kept out of today's game with the left hamstring strain. Again, nothing serious. Rachel, they're looking at the long, big picture with her.
Long term, definitely.
Yep. The strength of Spencer. She takes some body blows.
I have to check her for prints on that one. I think she got handled a little bit on that play.
Mewis, I believe, called for that foul moments after the play Janine was talking about, and on the near side is Shim. Long leaving it. Farley not able to catch up. Western New York. As Spencer goes flying, and we'll play on. Long hits the turf. Here's Heath trying to turn the corner. Edmonds, 1v1. Headed out of danger. Western New York can get organized defensively.
You're kind of seeing the game open up a little bit right now. You had New York kind of dropping in a little bit, playing a lower line. Now they're getting into it. It looks like they may be finding their rhythm a bit.
Heath. No problem for D'Angelo. High sky and in the sun, but not a problem at all.
Interesting she comes out of the back. Most things are dropped to her feet. Obviously very comfortable. You can see her on the long ball and she can hit a good strong service. But even coming out of the back, the pass is from her feet, not from her hands.
Here's Edmonds, 60th minute. Sending inside the 18. Dangerous here. Firm on the touch. Back post. Oh boy. And Angerer is finally able to collect that thing. Beautifully played by Western New York.
The defenders were maybe a little bit too comfortable, took a little bit too much time to deal with that ball and shut it down, so it kind of allowed New York to have a little bit more time to get the serve in. It was nicely covered on the back. The defender had that forward. They were nice and tight, and Nadine was there as well. But it was a good look for New York.
Taylor trying to run underneath that one. Engen was there. Jody with some well-timed runs, but the Flash defense has been right there stride for stride. Johnson finds Zerboni. Farley, again, very deliberate. That served Portland well in that first half. Shim, one touch, and that foul will go against Western New York as Mana and Long tried to combine. One nothing. Thorns leading the visiting Western New York Flash 1-0 here in the 61st minute. Let's see what Heath decides to do with this one. Beautiful ball inside to Alli. Oh, nicely played by D'Angelo.
You cannot ask for a better service than that.
Wow, I'll say.
Tobin Heath put it exactly perfectly right where she needed to do. Alli had a nice first touch, maybe just got a little bit away from her. Just hard to get that ball in with D'Angelo coming off her line, and she was there ready to close it down.
Alli Long just inches away from another brace and a 2-0 Portland lead. Smartly played by Spencer. Menges is right there, and a quick restart for Western New York. Not so fast, I guess.
I'm not sure quite why they have to wait on that ball, but
boy,
the Thorns are happy with the with the chance to slow that ball down.
You bet. Get all organized and whatnot. Both teams putting pressure on in the respective 18s. Dahlkemper leaving it. Taylor doing a nice job of taking some contact there and collecting, and here comes the Thorns, but ooh, nice play there. Johnson taking it away from Edmonds.
Johnson hit that ball a little bit early.
Long will carry. Doesn't have a lot of company. We'll leave it. Wilkinson. Here comes Western New York on the counter. And they have got a lot of room in front of them. Right outside the 18, cutting back nicely. Poke checked away. This one will be on frame. Not necessarily scooped away by Portland's defense. Good D by the Thorns.
They were able to close that down again with the help of each other. Good pressure on the ball. Coming in, covering for each other, and just able to pick that ball up and then restart kind of the way forward.
64th minute. The new guacamole burger or chicken sandwich at McDonald's, made with Haas avocados and served with freshly made pico de gallo and a slice of lime. Try it today, paired with your choice of sizzling 100% beef or tender, delicious chicken at participating McDonald's. Heath just kind of sizing things up. Trying to get away from Mewis. Heavy on the touch, and here comes Western New York. Unlucky there. Portland doing a nice job of not letting LaRue more than a couple, 2 or 3 times, get into open space.
She just hasn't been much involved in the play as I'm sure her coach would like to see her, and I'm not quite sure why. I don't know if she's not quite reading the runs or the service from her team. She's a little bit too undermanned up top. She doesn't have the help from other people that she needs as well. But they're just not getting her the ball. She's not giving as much as I know she can in this game.
Speaking of, just a little too tough on that touch as LaRue tag teams Menges. Easy foul to call there here in the 65th minute.
Maybe I should stop saying things about how they should get LaRue the ball so that they won't actually then find her right away.
All right. That one's on you.
My bad.
Watching Sinclair and Kaylin Kyle warm up vigorously on the sidelines for the Portland Thorns. It'll be interesting to see if Paul Riley makes any kind of switches down the stretch. Shim, nicely done to get past Edmonds. Edmonds is right there, though, equal to the task. Shovels it to Dahlkemper.
I think Riley might be giving them a little chance to kind of, he did switch things around with the insertion of that one player.
Of Wilkinson?
Of Wilkinson. So you've got kind of Shim playing more on the outside. Heath had been in the middle, going to the outside. You've got Johnson a little bit lower now. So giving them a chance to kind of sort that out and see how they can do in this system with those players in those positions might be the thing that he's kind of just giving them a little time to deal with.
So it looks like Western New York will sub in Kristen Hamilton very, very soon. She signed in the preseason, did Hamilton, who's just moments away from coming in out of the University of Denver. Janine Sparra starred for Colorado College, not too far away.
I was going to say something about the University of Denver, but I thought I should.
Really good soccer program.
It is a very good soccer program.
So was yours, and you, by the way, member of the Colorado College Hall of Fame. Just saying.
Just saying.
Uh-huh.
That's the ancient prehistoric Hall of Fame at this point, I believe.
Williams, a little heavy on the touch. We're going to play on. Again, Western New York doing a much better job, and unlucky there for Hinkle. We're trying to get things going. So number 17, Hamilton, still waiting to come in.
Number 17, Kristen Hamilton, replacing number 9, Lynn Williams.
Williams will come out. Hamilton in, Williams off, and I think Lynn Williams was terrific today, the rookie out of Pepperdine.
She's doing a great job up top. I mean, for what those forwards can do and what they've had, they've really tried to do things. So we'll see if this insertion just changes it enough to try to get them something different.
Williams getting her first start of the season. Aaron Lyons talking to his youngster. Showed some great speed, and I think a nice job of controlling ball. Possession was in her favor many a time, and I think she's going to be a good one for this Flash Club.
It'll be interesting to see this team at the beginning of the season and then again at the end of the season, and see how they do and how much they've changed.
Better get them early. This is one of those clubs not affected a whole lot by the World Cup call-ups. Engen and LaRue, that's
Those
it.
are the only two players, correct, that are going on, that are leaving. So they're going to be pretty solid, and they've got that solid core already.
I'm screened by the fallen
Zerboni.
Was it Zerboni? Sure is. And the Thorns training staff, medical crew will head on out to McCall, who's able to get up and walk towards them on her own. That's a good sign.
I would always say, don't make me walk all the way out there if you're going to be okay. Just kind of give us the signal.
So Zerboni will get a nice ovation, and the crowd will come to its feet as number 12, Christine Sinclair, ready to come to the pitch for the first time this season. You can listen for yourself.
Seems to be a little bit of a crowd favorite out there. Christine Sinclair.
Yeah, crowd favorite for crowd favorite as Shim comes off.
True.
And Sink makes her season debut for the Portland Thorns.
Looks like they're putting Sinclair up top, maybe dropping Taylor in a little bit lower on the outside.
Right away, you saw Sink run up to Taylor. They were visiting about something.
Kind of continue the game plan, let her know what Paul's thinking and exactly what her role is and where he wants her to play.
And Zerboni back on the pitch. She's fine. So Sinclair coming in the 70th minute for the Portland Thorns.
This is a just wealth of riches. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
You have so many options. Like, that's so nice, you know, in the 69th minute to put Christine Sinclair in the game and still have Taylor out there. That's an amazing pair.
Mewis just kind of poke-checked away from behind, and it'll be a Flash throw in 71st minute. Western New York not letting up. Sink touching the ball for the first time, attracting a crowd. Goes to her countrywoman Wilkinson. A little firm on the touch. Again, a Flash throw in. This match very much in the balance as another foul is called. Edwards going down. Call will go against the Thorns. 71st minute, still anybody's match. Alli Long with that goal in the first half, 22nd minute off Farley's service. the lone goal of this match so far. Heath knocked off the ball by Engen. Nadine coming way off the line. And boy, right there was Becky Edwards wanting to tangle with Nadine, and she outleapt Edwards for that ball.
That's what you want to see your goalkeeper do. Control not only your 6, but outside your 6. That is a very long ball to track across the goal and then come out for on the opposite side. So she does a great job. Obviously, World Player of the Year last year, and you know why. You see her move that way. You see her control the area. This is her box, and she's in control.
She read that beautifully and very aggressive.
She did. She made it look easy, which means it just shows you how good she is. If somebody's truly good, it looks effortless.
Hamilton dancing around. We're going to still play on. I thought maybe Mewis would get the break there, but instead, Wilkinson and company will go the other way.
Seemed a little bit of a push from behind.
I think so too. I think that's a break for the Thorns. Here's Zerboni. It's been a quiet second half for the Portland Thorns. Long had that opportunity for the brace, but D'Angelo denied her in the second half. But basically, that's been about it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's been, just as you said, kind of that consistent. Let's see if Taylor can do something here.
Taylor leaving it. Sink. Farley kind of skids up to the ball. No steam on that one.
It's a nice little layoff outside the foot from Sink to try to leave it for 2 on-rushing players. I think they got slightly caught because they could both see each other coming for the ball and just weren't quite sure who should really get it and who had the better position.
Today's attendance announced at 13,148. The season and home opener last week was 13,386. I'll take anything in that 13,000 ballpark at this beautiful ballpark.
Not a bad number.
Nope. '74th minute. Western New York has been applying the pressure, no doubt about it.
I don't know if that's quite what they wanted to execute on that one. They did try to, nice little short, try to get some space forward on that. There's a little bit of a miscue on the back post from their forwards.
Sinclair chests it down, still maintains possession. Leaves it. Beautiful ball to Taylor. She gives it up, and here comes Hamilton. Watch out! Hamilton, good no call there. Nice hustling play, though, by Hamilton. Just kind of came up with nothing but air. 75th minute, still a ton of time. You get a sense of urgency from this crowd. They'd love one more to give themselves and Unger a little cushion.
Seems like the crowd is starting to ask for a little bit of an attack. You can kind of hear them get a little restless. The Thorns are sticking to the game plan, though. They're still patient. They're still working the ball. They have no real need to go forward just as yet, looking for that good opportunity where something's really, they're going to get something out of it and not just kind of lump it forward like some teams do, which is nice to see. But it'd be nice for them to find it, go forward, and to attack a little bit more and get a couple more threatening chances.
4 goals last week to open season's play. Kendall Johnson can keep it in play on this near sideline. Nothing much on that cross.
I think Alli Long could have gained a little space on that one before she got played in. Maybe drew a defender off one of the forwards or outside mids that were coming up to kind of give them a little bit more space. And then Kendall Johnson, if she slipped her the ball, she could have also kind of turned the corner and got a little closer.
Lots of games on the docket today in the league. Washington at Kansas City. They started at about the same time we did. Sky Blue against Houston. And the Red Stars will visit Seattle. Throw in Long. She'll get it right back. '77th minute. Janine, how critical is communication at this point? You see Paul Riley down on the pitch kind of waving his hands as if to chatter, communicate, talk. How critical is it with the game in the balance?
Well, it's one of those things that you can really control the game with that's easy and quick. You don't want to lose the momentum. You don't want to lose the tempo of the game. So how can you solve that or deal with that really quickly? And that's by keeping everybody talking and organizing through the whole thing. Lulls happen when people stop talking, energy goes down, and in a 1-0 game, you don't want that lull to happen. So I think that's part of it, is keeping everybody communicating, organized, and keeping kind of their energy up and focused in what they're trying to do.
Great D by Long to dispossess Edmonds. Edmonds not quitting on the play, though, at all. Gets a shove from Menges, but it'll be Portland's ball. Good D by Alli Long. And Lyons is going to go to his bench again.
Substitution for the Flash. Into the match, number 6.
So Jordan Angeli is waiting to come in. Dahlkemper will come out. Angeli had that one lone goal against Seattle last week and started as well today off the bench down the stretch.
She did. She was the one that put it in, that put them 2-1. So a little bit closer to the rain and tried to get them back in the game. So it should be an interesting one to watch and make sure that she doesn't kind of get in, especially in a 1-0 game.
Just glad that she's back on the pitch. All those years recovering from an ACL injury and the surgical procedure too. So just glad to have her back up and playing. An acquisition for New York from the Spirit. Here comes Portland. Taylor tries to slot it through. Good D, but Heath collects and keeps it in the offensive third. Sinclair finding Long, headed away. Heath again. There's the run there.
A tough little ball to try to deal with.
It was really tough for Wilkinson. That had some zip on it.
A little bit behind her as well. Kind of hit her like a little bit in the side, so the ball was like a little too far back.
And boy, you could kind of feel Hinkle coming too. Zerboni dancing around.
I think she wanted to try to beat her 2 to 3 times instead of just the one. She kind of came back again. Beat you one more time.
There you go. Nemec getting her first start of the season, doing a really nice job subbing in as the starter for the injured Van Hallebeck. '80th minute. Johnson slow to get up on that last flurry, but the Portlander is up and at him as Edmonds loses it again. Stretch run time, critical time. Portland vowed to not let leads get away as it did last year. We'll see. Easy call to make as Hamilton knocks Long down. Paul Riley having the luxury of all the internationals. The only one missing is Catley, as the Australian Soccer Federation did not release its players to report to their respective NWSL camps. But she's been the only one missing.
Yeah, it's interesting what the holdout was, but with a federation, they've got to take care of what their plan is, and they're looking to the World Cup. So, you know, part of me thinks we're lucky to have the people that we do in this time of the year.
Long. Beautiful ball. Wilkinson trying to catch up, and here's Sinclair. She's got Engen. Tough call there. Decent pace.
Wilson did a good job of keeping that ball in, trying to do something with it. Sinclair catching up to it and then having a nice little, she tried to bend it. She had a little bit more bend on it. She probably could have gotten into the space between D'Angelo and the backs. Tough to do on the run under pressure.
Engen marking Sinclair pretty well. You'd expect nothing less from Whitney. And here's Heath. Turning her defender, Hinkle, around over and over. Zerboni. Headed away. Heath keeping it in play. One hopper. D'Angelo.
A little bit ambitious from Tobin Heath, a little bit far out. D'Angelo, no problem dealing with that ball.
No bobbles and actually no red jerseys there in case there was a rebound opportunity.
No, she was a good 25, 30 yards out on that ball. I like the idea, I just like to see it a little bit closer to the goal.
It's just been great as Heath goes down hard. It's been great to have Tobin with this club since day one. In this, the third season, normally it's Tobin coming in after her days playing with the French team over across the pond would come more in June or what have you. And then last year when she comes in, had a knee injury that kind of kept her out for some 4 or 5 matches. So far, so good.
Anytime you can get her in and here and on the field, it's awesome.
Sinclair hooks up with Wilkinson nicely.
That's some good pressure by Zerboni.
Yeah.
She gives away a few inches there on Mewis, but she went up for that header and she was challenging for it. She wasn't just obligatory jumping on it.
No Alex Morgan, no Rachel Van Hollebeck, but a deep Portland Thorns lineup has risen to the occasion. Long, better watch out from behind. Nicely done by Hamilton, who's been really good off the bench for Western New York. Down the stretch here, dangerous ball.
A little bit of pressing they're starting to get. That's a good service from Western New York in the top of the box. This will be the next couple minutes. Could be a little bit of a momentum shift. It's hard to tell. You want to see them come if they're coming out early, but they're pressing a little bit.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the first corner kick of the game
for Western New York.
Not for either team. Here's Edwards. Angerer trying to come down with it. Boy, and just, whoa, Nadine tangling.
Little feistiness
with
out there on the field.
Yeah. And Thorns fans who have gotten to know Nadine Angerer knows that the German keeper will not back down. That was a dangerous ball.
I'm not sure too many of these women will back down, but definitely not Nadine. It's good though. I mean, almost the 85th minute, you're seeing these teams, they're fighting. They want to do it. They really care about this game, and they're trying to be as good, tough, strong, complete as they can be. And that's great to see in the game. You want to see that in women's soccer.
Mewis just mistimed her jump barely on that last corner kick. It was a pretty good ball from Edwards, and that resulted in the foul called against Western New York. We're getting deep into this match. Flick header for Taylor. Can't catch up to it. Sinclair taking that ball right away. Here's Heath. She'll take a crack. Hesitated for a second here in the 86th minute and way wide.
It's not a bad shot. It's not a bad shot from her. She's trying to get it off quickly, maybe mishit it a little bit with the outside. Still, I'd like to see her take on. I still want to see them go. They're up in the middle in front of goal, 20, 22 yards out, one defender in front of you essentially. Just try to beat that player. See what you can do. Great numbers up.
Taylor, foot race. Too firm with that touch.
Yeah, if she's got a little bit different touch on that ball played through from Alli Long, she probably could have taken some of the speed off, controlled it, and got in.
Here's Hamilton again.
Yep, Zerboni's there.
Yep. McCall just able to flick that ball off the foot of Hamilton, who's been all over the place since getting the nod late in this second half. And lines will go to his bench again.
Sometimes you just keep looking for that winner. person that's going to put the ball in. And Kerr did play in that last game. She started in the game against the Reign, so a little bit of a surprise there, but now trying to, you know, have a couple minutes left in the game. You need to get the equalizer. You know, it's a good option to have there.
One of Denmark's best players, Camilla Kerr, wearing number 10. Gotten a lot of caps with her country. Misplayed by the defense, but we're going to play on. This has been an aggressive game and a well-called game. The whistle not halting too much progress. Heath, too firm on that touch. Menges at the last second able to get that pass off, and here's Heath again. Western New York's defense so much better than it was last weekend against Seattle. The Reign so loaded with talent had a lot to do with that, but Western New York doing a nice job. You know, they stayed put after the game in Seattle, stayed on the West Coast, obviously got some good training in, and with this young club, all the new faces, the difference between match number 1 and 2, pretty impressive.
It is pretty big, and you like we've said before, they have the talent. You've seen those players in there, so you know they've got a good way to go, but they're going in the right direction. They have that solid core of people that they're able to pull from, and they're growing, and you're seeing them grow right before your eyes. It's really a nice thing to be able to watch.
88th minute. Western New York not at all finished. The Thorns defense is going to have to rise to the occasion. Mewis was calling for it. Through ball wasn't there. Beautiful job again by the Portland Thorns. Defensively, collectively, folks just playing their roles. Beautiful job by Heath and Long. Taylor. Oh boy. The angle wasn't quite right.
So
but
disappointing.
How about everything starting with Long and Heath and the build up there to the foot of Taylor?
That's another great ball. I mean, there's just beautiful service. When you look at the game, when you see the excitement, no, they didn't score. I wish they would have. I wish Taylor would have taken a few quicker steps and take the ball off the volley or the half volley to catch up to it at a better angle. She lets the ball run past her. She has no angle, can't get the shot. But that ball in from Heath was brilliant.
Wow. And I mean, inside the 6, Western New York had a chance. Ball at the feet, and instead it goes skidding by. Angeli not able to catch up, and Angerer makes the save. And Heath down again, very slow to get up. Here in the 90th minute.
I think there's a little bit of contact going on in there. Maybe just came down on somebody's foot.
Wow. Angeli and Menges got to that ball at the exact same time, and Menges was able to disrupt Angeli just enough so that the foot didn't connect with the ball and slide past Angerer for the equalizer. And the training staff is out.
The defense is still pretty tight. One of the things they had problems with last year was the defense would get a little loose. They'd come off their man. They weren't always there the entire game. They'd have like little chances where they'd allow them in. But the Thorns are doing a really good job of staying on their man, of marking who's coming through, of basically taking care of their assignments. So doing a great job, and then Anger still, a little patience on the line, didn't do the thing that D'Angelo did, come off her line too soon for that first goal, waited, let it kind of played out, you know, put that stopper in front of the goal, and then when the chance came, she came, cleaned it up, got the ball, and put it in her hands.
Yeah, you break it down beautifully, because her staying home, really, it enabled Menges to come in and then do her job.
Quite often, young keepers, one of the things that happens, you try to do too much. And one of the things you learn when you get older is not what to do, but what not to do. So in the goalkeeper's example, goalkeeper leaves the goal, there's no one there. So D'Angelo in the first half trying to make a play and was very close, couldn't get to it, ball goes in. Nadine staying on her line, making sure everything's closed, did a really good job just shutting it down again and putting that ball in her hands.
3-minute stoppage time. Heath out. Kaylin Kyle, number 11, making her Portland Thorns debut. She's in. So 3 minutes of stoppage time. A critical time for these Portland Thorns. Nursing the 1-0 lead. The goal by Alli Long in the 22nd minute. Dangerous time now. Cutting back. And switching fields nicely. Here's Edmonds. Angerer will be slow to get up and take her time.
There wasn't too much there. Again, you could see if you're watching the defenders cover up those players for anything. They're doing a really good job of being anywhere where those flash players are standing.
Clever by Taylor.
She's so fun to watch.
Smart play there by Mewis. Brittany Taylor battling against Kendall Johnson. Kendall won that one.
Johnson did a great job of establishing position, so all Taylor really can do is kind of push her around a little bit and try to knock her off the ball, which Johnson didn't let happen, and then draws the foul. So it's great defending by Johnson.
Moments ago when LaRue had that ball inside the 18 far side, I really thought she'd try to create something on her own instead of switching fields. I'd love the ball if I'm Western New York at the feet of LaRue again. Here's Mewis.
I think it's always interesting to see kind of what people fall back on, and sometimes when a game's on the line, you know, I'm not sure that there's a lot of players that are willing to step up and say, I'm going to take this on my back and go at the goal. And for Sidley LaRue to make that choice is to not attack the goal. You know, she's going to need to do a lot more of that here for her team, especially if she is the franchise player and also this summer.
The third NWSL team for Sidney LaRue. Started with Boston, then to Seattle, and in that surprise trade just recently with the Reign sending her to this Western New York club. So Nadine, they said 3 minutes of stoppage time. I started my stopwatch a little bit after that announcement was made, and we're getting very deep into that 3 minutes. And it'll be a very smart Kendall Johnson who will just take her time. Western New York is going to have to hurry.
It's all about finishing the game in that game sense, that game management that you need. There they have it.
And there will be the final whistle. And a huge victory for the Portland Thorns, outlasting a game at Western New York club 1-0 thanks to Long's goal in the 22nd minute. Hard-fought victory. Portland's defense doing its job. Angerer with the clean sheet, making her seasonal debut, and Long leading this club in goals. She's got 3 now.
It's such a great thing to see. Again, we go back to that question of consistency, and so far they've been very consistent. They were solid, strong through the stretch. They had a little bit of a momentum change with New York in the last 6 to 8 minutes. But they did a good job. They're still covering their players, doing all the roles that Paul Riley asked them to do, making sure that they finish the game plan the same way they started. So it's a great look at the Thorns and what they're going to show for the rest of the season. And with those players coming in, even with changes here and there, the team is still consistent. So you can see that they're all picking up and living that message that he's trying to get across.
So the momentum from last weekend when they blew the doors off Boston with the 4 goals, the result isn't the same in terms of goals scored, but a hard-fought victory when you've really got to be good every step of the way. You can't afford a miscue in this kind of a close match. They got to be able to draw from that too.
It's true, you know, you're not, but the thing is, you're not going to get all those goals every game. You're not going to have that chance to blow teams out or to get 4 or 5 goals. So in order for this team to continue to do the things they want to do, it's great to see them do that.
Alli Long slipping on the headsets, my friend. Well done. Huge victory for the Portland Thorns. Describe what it's like to go 2-0 and picking up 6 critical points.
It's exactly how we wanted to start the season, at home, just gaining our confidence, friends, getting experience with each other, and just playing well. And today it was hot and it was definitely physical, so it was a little bit tougher. We didn't have as many chances as last game, but it was a great team effort.
What was the difference for you and the team in a little bit of the attacking? You got on the end of him a lot more last game. In this game you did, but what was the difference in kind of the number of chances you got?
Well, I think this game they sat back a lot more, and they really clogged the middle, so it was harder to find the through balls, and also our movement wasn't as sharp as last game. It was definitely hotter, and I think that some of us were a little bit more tired where those runs weren't necessarily on, and I think they did a good job just pretty much dropping back as soon as we looked to play over the top, so it was tough to get in behind, but we were able to find a little bit, which was good. We were taking a look,
Alli, at your third goal of the season, the game winner today. Timing was just perfect. Walk us through. I know there were a lot of bodies flying around on that particular play, but walk us through it.
Yeah, as soon as Sinead picked up her head, I tried to get on the back shoulder of Witt, and she played a great ball right in behind her, and I saw the keeper come out, so I just tried to flick it on and hope it went in.
Congratulations, Alli Long. Third goal of the season is the game winner, and the Portland Thorns win at 1-0. Congratulations, Alli.
Congratulations, Alli. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's a wrap from Providence Park. The Portland Thorns beating Western New York 1-0 in front of over 13,000 fans. The Thorns go to 2-0-0 on the year. Our next home match is Saturday, May 9th. The Thorns hosting the Washington Spirit. It's a 7 p.m. start right here at Providence Park. And you can get your tickets at PortlandThornsFC.com. Between now and then, the Thorns will be on the road taking on Chicago next weekend, and again back home against the Spirit on May 9th. Thanks so much for joining us today, everybody. Have a great weekend, and see you soon.